everybody. Welcome to the Garden, and thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Zach Gardner, alongside Jake Gardner.
Hello, hello.
And today we bring you our NFL Week 10 breakdown episode. So we're going to give you the top performers of the week, injury news, some top storylines, buy low and sell high trade targets, and of course our Scoop 'em Up segment. So we have a lot to get to. Let's do this.
Yeah, no, that definitely wasn't read from a script. Just off the cuff there, right, Zach? So we're
Yep.
top performers, man. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes back to form, 36.24 fantasy points. Dak Prescott 26.34, Josh Allen 20.94, Mac Jones 19.92, Trevor Siemian 19.92. And also, everybody listening, we always record this before the Monday night game or like during it. So if those quarterbacks do better, then they're not on this list right now. But yeah, surprise there from Mac Jones and Trevor Siemian at the bottom.
Yeah, very surprising there. But we'll move on to running backs. A.J. Dillon, 24.8. Ramondre Stevenson, 23.4. Darrell Williams, 20.4. Antonio Gibson, 19.8. And Jonathan Taylor, 18.6.
Yeah, pretty weird week just with A.J. Dillon taking over there because Aaron Jones got hurt. And yeah, Damian Harrison played for New England, and they just went off against Cleveland. So not the big names at top this time. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, 22.6, Stephon Diggs, 22.2, Tyreek Hill, 20.5, Kendrick Bourne, 20.1, Devontae Smith, 18.6. So standard top three, and then we talked about Kendrick breaking out last week. Or no, Devontae Smith, I mean. Burns like the big surprise for New England.
Yeah. Now we'll move on to tight end. Hunter Henry, 15.7. The week I dropped him. Tyler Conklin, 13.1. Mark Andrews, 12.3. Travis Kelce, 11.9. And Dan Arnold, 8.7.
That you dropped Henry, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's now the number 3 tight end.
He had a couple down weeks. Whatever.
Yeah. We'll talk about him later in the podcast. And yeah, injury news, a lot has happened. I guess just since we've started the podcast, you learn that this is the norm. How many injuries just across the league happen to big names, starting caliber players. So Kyler Murray, ankle, and the coach wouldn't commit to his availability because he almost played Sunday, but then he still wouldn't commit to next week. So I don't know, man. It's up in the air. So it's something to keep an eye on. Sam Darnold, shoulder, won't play again this season. Alvin Kamara, knee, missed Sunday, and hopefully coming back next week. Aaron Jones, probably the biggest injury, MCL sprain, expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks. I was telling Zach before the show that I think it could be more, just based on they're just such a high caliber team and they need them for the championship run. Baker Mayfield, knee, day to day, and they say he's feeling good, so I expect him to already play next week. Cordero Patterson, ankle, limited at practice Monday, and they do play Thursday Night Football, so he's questionable for that game right now. Nick Chubb, illness, didn't play Sunday. We're going to wait on an update. Jared Goff, oblique, said he will be fine. So we'll wait on more news from that, from just like their medical staff instead of just the player. CeeDee Lamb, arm, another one saying going to be fine. So like he left the game and then he went back in. So it shouldn't be anything serious. Ben Roethlisberger, COVID. We'll have to wait for an update on that one. Damian Harris, concussion, limited participant Monday. Another guy to keep a close eye on. Robert Woods, that's the biggest news of before Sunday, is Robert Woods torn ACL out for season. Or before today, they're playing tonight. So it's great for whoever picked up Odell Beckham, man. I mean, because a lot of people dropped him in frustration, including me. And I mean, I just saw people in other leagues who owned him too, just dropping him before with all the Cleveland, crap going on. So
Yeah.
big win for them. Tua Tagovailoa, finger, expected to play against the Jets next week. DeAndre Hopkins hamstring has not stepped onto the practice field, is what was said. So we'll see what happens there. And then Chase Edmonds' ankle injured reserve, so he's not eligible to come back until mid-December.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot going on with injuries and a lot of big names there. So we'll go over some replacements for you guys. And top storylines, I think there's a couple of good ones here, Zach. I wanted to get your opinion. Is Mac Jones here to stay? It looks like New England has been finding a new level the past couple weeks.
He's definitely here to stay.
I know he was kind of up and down before, but obviously it was a rookie and it was just a young team, so had to be coached and coached well and learn his system.
Well, he's good for that system, and he was one of the biggest value quarterbacks of the whole draft. I felt like he was too talented to fall to 15th pick, but they got him.
Yeah.
England got him. Oh.
Yeah, and I think he's here to stay because
I think he's the best quarterback of this class.
I wouldn't say that. But Cleveland shut down a, red hot Cincinnati Bengals team with Joe Burrow last week. So everyone going into this week thought Cleveland was going to win this one, and then they couldn't even tackle Mac Jones. I'd have to look at if they did get a sack or not, but yeah, I think that goes to show that the team's figured it out and the O-line, and I don't know, man. Is their record bad enough to not make the playoffs still, or do they have a chance? I feel like you always have a chance. I mean, we're barely past the halfway point, right? They got 6 more weeks.
Yeah, something like that.
So their record is I just want to make sure before we.
I think there's 8 more weeks.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Oh, they're 6-4, bro. For some reason, I thought they had more losses. I think I was just putting them right next to the Jets, but they're 6-4, and they've won 4 in a row. So, and I know the Bills are atop the division, but they don't have to worry about the Dolphins or the Jets. So, and for the wild card spot, maybe they won't beat the Bills out, but the Bills are only 6-3, so they could still beat the Bills out. But if they don't, for the wild card spot, their competition is the Chargers, who are a very up and down team, and the Steelers, and Bengals, who are also on and off. So if they're the ones who stay the most consistent, they can definitely make it.
Yeah,
and
they definitely can.
That would be definitely a quarterback to grab.
They have a good defense for it too. They could do good in the playoffs.
Definitely, man. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think everyone wrote them off after Tampa Bay beat them barely, but yeah. All right, and then I wanted to go over going into that Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, so they did this last year, so I don't want to just say they're falling off, because last year they were 6-3 like they are now, and then they were 7-5, and then they started going off at the end of the season. So, is there something to worry about here with them, or are they going to figure it out?
I think they're probably going to figure it out, but I just feel like, they're dealing with a bunch of injuries, aren't they?
Antonio Brown's still out.
Didn't one of the other receivers not play, or did Evans play?
He played. I think he was their best receiver, because Chris Godwin didn't do that great.
Okay. I don't know if there's really much to worry about. You win some, you lose some. I still think they're still one of the top teams to pick to make it to the Super Bowl at this point. But we got to see, how they respond next week. But I don't know.
It's funny you say that, because I wanted to ask you, are the Packers now the favorites to go?
No.
In the NFC?
I don't think so.
Buccaneers have lost 2 in a row. The only reason the Packers don't have the best record in the NFC and they're tied is because Aaron Rodgers had to sit a week. But they're tied with the Cardinals at 8-2, and the Cardinals are struggling and have have injuries. You know,
Yeah, I'd still pick Tampa Bay to beat the Packers.
all right. I just think they're.
I don't think they did enough on their defense to improve from how they were last year against Tampa Bay. So
I thought they did. Thought people were pretty high on their defense this year. It's not just like I thought they're the best defense, but they made some linebacker moves, and I mean they just shut out Seattle 17-0.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm never gonna think the Packers are a favorite.
For sure. Okay. So you still got the Bucks. Yeah, I'm gonna say like I'm starting to take them, man, because the Cardinals are struggling. The Cowboys, it's hard for me to believe in them when they're on and off, even though they are 7-2, but they've been kind of
Yeah, I think
going off or not at all.
I'd take the Bucks or the Cowboys, and then I'd put the Packers at third. That's just me.
Yeah, for sure. And is Patrick Mahomes finally back to form?
Definitely. I
I know
mean,
we were talking
he
about,
looked like
a
vintage
buy
Patrick
low
Mahomes.
last week, but that's over. I know it
Yeah.
was a hard. We knew it was a hard buy low, but we also knew like that might be the only chance you have if somebody's still worried.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's break into buy lows then. Justin Herbert, is he still a buy low even though he had another mediocre week? Or are you over like you just let the owner? Is that worth it for you to make a trade? You know what I mean? For a guy that's
I
not
don't think so. I
consistent.
think that would be. I don't know. I probably wouldn't trade because you can find quarterbacks.
Yeah,
So there's probably somebody on the waiver wire that could give you, a decent performance. So if that's what I don't know. I wouldn't be trading for Justin Herbert.
yeah. Me either at this point because of the inconsistency. It's just you don't want that coming back to you with, and because of the name value, you would have to give up a decent amount. So I
Mhm.
think he's off the radar at this point. Would you still buy low on Aaron Rodgers? He came back this week, but he didn't do super well in fantasy.
No, I'm normally not one to trade for quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it never really works out unless you're doing a quarterback swap trade.
Yeah,
But usually the person trading away the quarterback gets the better end of the deal. So in most cases,
yeah, for sure. Um, all right. Would you buy low on Russell Wilson then? Since he did pretty bad coming back, people
I'm
could be worried about him.
uh maybe on him because I think he's gonna turn it around. And
Uh,
he's gotta basically get reacquainted, right? So
yeah, yeah.
I
He
don't know.
only got
I'd buy low
five
on
point six
him.
four fantasy points.
I'd buy low on him, and I'd
All right, for sure.
send over
And
something.
then say that you're have a really good standing, right? Like you're a number one seed. Would you try to trade for Aaron Jones, who's out 1 to 2 weeks, and stash him for later?
Maybe.
That might be like so your chance to get like a top running back
Yeah,
on your depth chart.
I might try and see what I could do with that. And if I had an open IR spot that needed to be filled, I
Hmm.
might
I
see what I
mean,
could do there.
well, literally, you could in our family league. Just thinking about it right now, off the head here, Ben has and Ben is fighting for a playoff spot, so he can't. He needs guys who are playing. So
Right.
maybe you could actually make a deal for him.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So yeah, it really has to do with your league and if that team needs active players. Basically, if they're a good record, they don't need to trade them, and they won't. But
Right.
this might be your chance to get a steal there for the rest of the season.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs, he had 2 mediocre weeks in a row, and we know the Raiders aren't that bad. Like I think he's worth trading for, and it's a guy that's more doable in a trade than Aaron Jones. What do
Yeah,
you
I'd
think?
be interested in getting Josh Jacobs for sure.
He's definitely been like it's
Especially
been
that he's
a
had 2 bad weeks. This is the time that I would definitely be sending an offer over.
yeah. He I don't know. He's at a roller coaster season. the number 26 running back because of some bad weeks, and then also he missed several weeks. So I think teams would be more willing to listen to offers for him. So
Okay.
if you need a talented running back, you don't have running back depth, go for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin, several bad weeks, and we know he's on that Washington offense, but they just pulled out a win, and he's ranked 19th. We know he's better than 19th. Real life football, can he break the top 10 still? And he was top 10 early in the season for
Yeah, I
fantasy.
think he can. I think he can, and I would definitely be sending an offer over there, especially if you're thinner at receiver, um,
Yeah,
heavy at like running back. I feel like you could get a deal like that done, get that guy after he's had some bad weeks. He's too talented. I
yeah,
feel like he's gotta get better.
I totally agree. I'm going to send some offers tonight because,
And then out of the next two that I'm looking at, I definitely would be buying low on one, but I think I'm kind of fading the other.
okay, so the next two, everybody is Mike Williams and Cortland Sutton. They've both had like a month, so 4 bad weeks in a row for
Yeah.
fantasy.
So
What are you thinking?
I'm in on Mike Williams. I'm starting to be out on Cortland Sutton. I just kind of think that
Really?
this isn't his year. I'm going to be
Yeah,
back on
the
that train
quarterback.
next year after he has a full off season of not having to rehab, and he'll be more healthy next year. I feel like next year is the season that I want Cortland Sutton. I think this just might be a lost year,
Yeah, we
especially if Denver gets Aaron Rodgers for next season. Then I'm all over the Cortland Sutton train.
for sure. So you think he's going to Denver and not? I thought he was going to Pittsburgh, but
I don't know where he's going to end up. I know
those
Denver was
those are probably
talking
two of the
about
top teams that he might go to for sure.
I know Denver was talking about trading for him this offseason. That's why I brought them up.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Man, I'd have to agree that the guy with better quarterback is Mike Williams, so you're more likely to go for him, but he would cost more than Cortland Sutton. But
He would
Sutton's
cost
a
more
risk.
than
Yeah.
Sutton. They're both risks. Mike Williams gets you touchdowns. Sutton gets you yards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, Mike Williams has more upside just because he's a touchdown guy. So I feel like I would rather take a chance on that versus the yardage guy. I don't know. That's just me, especially if I'm trading for a third or fourth
Yeah.
receiver like that, I would want the potential to get you all those touchdowns like that is enticing.
Yeah, for sure. Totally agree. I think you might have to offer a little bit more for Mike, but it will be more worth it for sure. And Sutton is a guy we were high on. He had 2 really good weeks where I thought he was finally breaking out about a month ago, and then he just fell off. So it kind of has to do with their
No,
just their offensive situation, but
offensive and his, maybe his injury. Maybe he's just not as explosive right now.
yeah, like he's not feeling it every week quite yet,
Yeah.
for sure. Let's go to Darren Waller. 4 bad to mediocre weeks in a row. I say like one of them was mediocre, but for him it was bad. I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this is your window to get a. Say you haven't been able to grab one of the breakout tight ends that were early in the year here, like a month or so ago or two. Um, Try to get Waller, man. I mean, he's still the number 8,
Walrus.
but yeah, the Waller is 7.7 average. It's just not looking good. And this past week was only 2.4, man. So it's not. I mean, it's doable. He's not the beast so far that he has been. So, and he's got a good enough quarterback to get it done. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. I would be trading for Darren Waller for sure. Uh, that's definitely something I'll be trying to do this week.
Yeah, maybe include like Dalton Schultz, the Dallas tight end, and somebody else.
Yeah, or maybe even Dawson Knox.
Well, that'll be harder because Dawson Knox laid an egg and has returned from injury.
Yeah, which we're about to talk about, but
Yeah, so I have him as a buy low as well.
he's a good buy low as
Cheaper
well.
tight end.
He'd be cheaper. But I really feel like he's definitely going to bounce back. I mean, his first game back after a broken hand,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting much that first week. I didn't start him in any of the leagues that I have him in just because I was worried about the first game back after an injury.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be getting better every week after this. I think he had to get through that first game. So,
Definitely. Yeah, that's why I think this is a great time to go get him. He could still break the top 5 tight end because tight
oh
end is
yeah.
wide open because of guys like Darren Waller falling off a bit.
And another
TJ
reason
Hawkinson fell off.
when when he was healthy, he had a great rapport going with Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So you
Yeah.
want that, if you can get to something like that.
Yeah, and he would be cheaper than any other tight end we're talking about. Words.
Yeah,
But
he'd definitely be cheaper than Waller.
yeah, and then the other tight end we talked about him last week, but I still want to put him on here. Noah Fant. I think he's still a buy low. I mean, we just talked about the offensive situation with Cortland Sutton, but
Yeah,
Fant
he's
is super
definitely
talented, and if you need a tight end, just try to trade for one of these three. Oh, four. I
yeah,
mean, Kyle Pitts as well. He's still ranked 6th, I think. He might
is that
fall a
really a
little
buy
bit.
low?
Yeah, because he's had 2 like mediocre weeks in a row, and well, bad. I mean, and
A
his
rookie.
quarterback. People don't like his quarterback, so they might be over him.
Okay, well,
He's ranked number 5, and I was going to fall a bit, I think, because he only got 6 fantasy points.
okay. Yeah, I mean, all these tight ends, I'd be willing to send offers over for all four of these guys.
Yeah, it'd be harder to get Pitts and Darren Waller.
Pitts and Waller will be like eyes
So
in the sky. I feel like you have a good chance to get Fant or Knox.
yeah, and Knox is the lead. Try to get Knox first.
Yeah, but Fant though, I mean, if you like floor guys,
Mm-hmm.
he's
But he's
not the
still hyper
worst.
talented. Yeah.
He's a guy that you can usually feel good about starting every week, and you know that he'll at least get you 7, 8 points at a minimum
Yeah,
when he's
definitely.
when he's good and going. Like he's just very consistent. And then if he gets a touchdown, then that puts him at like 13, 14. But usually he's
Mm-hmm.
good for 60, 70 yards a game, you know?
Yeah, totally agree. And then, so those are all my buy lows. Did you have any other guys that off the top of your head, Zach?
No, that's actually a really good list. I like that list. I wouldn't really add
For
much
sure.
to
And
it.
then this is the list I struggled with. Sell high. Like
Yeah, it's just
I
that
couldn't
time of
find
year.
I couldn't find believable. Like there's guys who went off this week that are no names, but nobody's gonna believe in them for the most part.
I
Besides
feel like you did put one of the best sell highs for right now on there, though. We'll get
okay,
to
yeah,
it if it's in the middle there, but if a little
okay,
dripping.
yeah, no, let's break into it. Then we got 5 guys here for you, people. Jordan Howard,
Ooh, that just makes me want a burger.
3 good weeks in a row, and yeah, I mean everyone knows that he's a potential trade piece for Philly because I think they know they're not winning it, right? They're not stupid. So
Winning
they're at
it. Oh, what?
yeah.
I like
Well,
that coach meme.
they're advertising Jordan
Playoffs.
Howard, and he could go to a team where he's splitting, and like he's like one of the best backups. Like they want to make sure they have depth at running back before the playoffs. So he could
Okay.
totally go to a team where he's not doing this. What do you think?
Wait, are you talking about for next year?
No, like this, the trade deadline's not passed, right?
No, it passed.
No,
That
when did
was
it
like two. That
pass?
was like two. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah. So he's there, man.
I'm off. Okay, well then he's. Do you believe in him then?
I do. I mean, they're using him out of, and he's. I mean, I think he's playing himself into being the backup when
Backup.
Sanders gets back.
Oh,
Playing himself in when Sanders comes back. But I mean, he's the guy. They're running back right now, and I feel like he fits well with what they want to do.
I missed the trade deadline. Did nothing happen this year?
Nothing happened. Von
That's
Miller
why I
was
was gonna
the main
say.
guy at the trade deadline.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I remember that, and then there's nothing
The only
else.
reason Beckham went anywhere is because they released him.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That wasn't like a trade.
All right. Well, and Jordan Howard's still a pickup, by the way. If basically if you already owned him, you're one of the guys who grabbed him a couple weeks ago. It's your
Oh,
chance to get cash in.
this
But
is
otherwise,
he
he's a
could
grab.
be the way he's playing. If they keep using him like that, and uh, he's the pickup that could win you a championship. This is that
You
you
think?
hardly not a lot of times in the middle of the season is there a pickup that could be as good as Jordan Howard could be for a team.
Yeah, but you
And
just
if
talked about Miles Sanders, and then Boston Scott also had a good week. So
yeah,
it's like
I mean
there's a
they're
lot
stacked.
there.
But Sanders though, I mean, he just I
No,
gotta
I
see what
know, but there's still Boston Scott as well. So like, it's
yeah
like they're gonna split three ways. And I know they were high on the fourth running back
Gainwell.
as well. They were high on him before. Now they might not be, but he's still there.
I just feel like Jordan Howard's playing himself into carries, and if he fits what they're trying to do, and he gels with their quarterback that and
Hmm.
he runs the system well, they gotta keep feeding him the ball if he's best for the
Hmm.
offense. You gotta sometimes gotta take the name out of it because Sanders has done jack in the league so far. All he is like a name, really.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, um, yeah, either pick him up, he's put him on the scoop list, or I would try to sell high still because of the
Yeah,
running back depth there. But
I mean,
if you
I
can get
would
anything,
definitely be bringing him up maybe next week if he has another good week. I mean, 4 weeks of a sample of good, consistent, good play. You people will maybe more likely after 3 weeks versus 4 weeks. That is a big difference when you're trying to trade a guy.
yeah,
So
yeah, for sure, totally agree. And then
you could
Daryl
be,
Williams,
you could literally say, look, he's had an amazing month, and you can't say that about a
mhm.
lot of guys. So
Yeah, but if you're gonna wait and then he has a mediocre week, then it's gonna be harder to sell
yeah, so you could still try selling him now, but I definitely feel like he'll still be a sell high next week too.
for sure. Okay, Daryl Williams. I think you should see if you can get anything before Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back.
I
He
mean,
just went
yeah, and he just went
huge
off. It's
week.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect time to do a sell.
yeah. See if you can get anything. I mean, nobody's stupid, and they know about Clyde Edwards, but Clyde Edwards still isn't back, so somebody could get a couple more weeks out of Daryl, or Daryl will be part of the system more than Clyde was because Clyde was struggling. You know,
Right.
it's not like Clyde was going off before he got hurt. He was struggling, and the team was a little bit frustrated with him. So Daryl Williams could be playing himself as well into a role.
Okay.
Some teams may be interested. They're not gonna. I think you could get something for him.
Okay.
Would you sell high on Hunter Henry, Zach?
I would definitely be selling high on Hunter Henry. Um, just seeing what you could get, especially because he's most likely a second tight end on most teams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like in my
He's
case,
also
I
a
was
grab.
playing
I
him
thought
while
he was
George
more owned.
Kittle. I was playing him while George Kittle was out, but now George Kittle's back. I'm probably not going to play Hunter Henry most weeks, and
Hmm.
I could try and get a haul back of running backs, receivers. You know, so I'd be trying to do that.
Yeah,
See what I
I'm
can
also
do.
gonna have to put him on the top scoops list, dude. He's only 53% owned, and people were dropping him for some reason. I'm guessing because of the Cleveland matchup.
Yeah, I think
But
that's a reason.
he's
Plus,
got
he
to be in the.
hadn't been
He could
doing great for
be.
2 weeks before that.
No, he's been consistent. It's the number three tight end for before this week. Like this week ranking hasn't applied yet. This 15 points. He was already
Okay.
number three. So he had 7.9. Then he had the bad week 3.3. Then before that 8.3, 8.5, 13.5. So his worst run was the first month. And now it looks like. Yeah, so if you already have him, this is just like Jordan Howard, I think. If you already have him, you sell high. Otherwise, he's a
Yeah.
grab, like a must grab.
Okay.
Because now this 15.7 fantasy points could put him to number two or number one tight end.
Yeah.
I'll have to see where he's at. Let me look here. I go to all players and fantasy points. Number one, Travis Kelce. Okay, so he's not going to take number one because Kelsey's too far ahead. Mark Andrews also did good again, so he'll keep number three for sure, though.
Yeah.
Even though I got 15.7, he'll be closer to Mark Andrews now for the number two spot. But yeah, must grab player. He'll be on our graphic.
Well, Mark Andrews is going to go off this weekend against the Bears. So
yeah, wow, we played Baltimore. Great. That'll be fun to watch, dude.
It's going to be a rushing quarterback matchup.
It'll be fun, hopefully, to watch, but
yeah, it'll be fun. 45-17.
Oh my god. Hey, is Khalil Mack gonna be back?
I hadn't heard nothing.
I would assume he would.
I think they released the injury stuff tomorrow.
Okay. All right, man. Are you selling high on James Conner, or is that over with? Are we just he's the number 5 running back?
I don't think there's any way that you could because he's just so consistent. If you have him, you just go on and
you just hold him, yeah.
Playing him, keep holding him. I mean, that.
Yeah, we've been saying he was going to fall off, but no, he is the blunt running back of this year.
Call him blunt force trauma.
Yeah, no, he's the guy. We thought he might not keep it up, and we thought some of these other running backs that are just touchdown backs would take his spot, but no, he's the king touchdown back this year, so you got to hold him. Would you still try and sell high on Fournette? He had another good week. So the week before that he was down a bit, but then before that was that big run. So he looks appetizing. I mean, he looks like people would still want him. It's not.
I would try dangle him out there.
Yeah, see what you can get.
Yeah.
No promises. Do you have any other sell highs you can think of, Zach?
No, really.
For sure. Yeah, because guys like Cordero Patterson didn't do well or are hurt. So it's just not a lot of sell highs this week. Everything looks pretty standard. Well, Spread can just scoop them up then, huh?
Here's something I'm thinking about. Do you think you could dangle out there a CeeDee Lamb, try and get yourself
oh god, I would not
get yourself a top receiver.
I would not trade. Isn't CD a top receiver?
Yeah, he is, but if how consistent is he?
I don't know. He looks pretty dang good, and his quarterback's back. I mean, I would struggle to you'd have to have good depth. I mean, he's the number 6 wideout, and that's not counting this 22.6 points he had, which will make him pass. He will pass Mike Evans or tie him for 5.
Okay.
So that'd be hard for me. I mean, unless you're getting Deebo Samuel or Jamar Chase, right?
Well, that's what I was gonna see. I mean, that's the only way you would trade him is if you can get one of those guys.
You don't want any of the guys under him, unless you think CeeDee Lamb is gonna fall off or something. Maybe you could sell him high and buy low on Devontae Adams, who is not top 5 right now.
Right.
But yeah, I would struggle to trade him, and nobody's gonna trade Cooper Kupp or Tyreek Hill. But
yeah,
if you could get the two guys farther above him, Jamar Chase or Deebo, I'd try that. But that's about it.
Okay.
So he looks dang good.
Yeah.
And don't they have a pretty good schedule? I'm gonna look right now.
Well, they're in a crap division, but yeah.
Yeah, Kansas City Raiders, New Orleans, Washington, Giants, Washington, Arizona, Philly. So no good defenses left.
Arizona's decent.
How have they fallen off, though?
Yeah.
So Dallas just kind of is going to be high scoring the rest of the way.
Are they going to be the first team to ever finish the season?
But I see what you're saying because CeeDee Lamb had those rough weeks, but he's still number 6. God.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah, if you don't want to,
I figured that he was more like number 9 or 10. So there would be
it's just
more
those
options.
Huge weeks like this week, like you're saying, keep him up.
those are the guys that are frustrating, and that's why I mean you like the guy.
Yeah.
You like the guy that gets you the 9 every single week, not the guy that gets you 3 one week and 20
Well,
the next.
yeah, if you're concerned about that, then you could trade for DK Metcalf, who's right behind him at number 7. And
With Russell Wilson back now, I mean, I might be more apt to try and maybe do something like that, to be honest.
yeah, so basically, if you're trying to trade CD Lamb, you're trying to. It's just we're dealing with a bunch of top names here, so you have to be fully ready to do it.
You got to be committed to him, thinking that he's not consistent, and definitely going
Hmm.
for a guy that's more consistent. And you can find all kinds of consistency charts out there on the Google machine. Uh, you can just type in, fantasy football consistency ratings, and it'll tell you guys that are historically very consistent fantasy players, and you can use
Hmm.
that to try and figure out how you can trade a CD Lamb and who to go target. That's just a nice. There's a lot of tools for that out there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. You want to break in to scoop them up?
Yeah, let's go into scoop them up.
All right, so I'm just gonna go by position. I mean, we've told you two of our scoops already throughout the show, but we're gonna still talk about them. Quarterback, I think Mac Jones is the only grab. Um, the rest of the quarterbacks out there that are still most available aren't like great or don't have the upside that Mac Jones does.
You can check if Carson Wentz is out there too. I got him off of waivers last week.
He's got to be. I mean, he might be, but he's broken into the top 10 now, so I feel like he's not. But again, people don't pick people up anymore. He's
Yeah,
63.7, so like he is still available in some leagues. But he's the number 11 quarterback, but he had a bad week. But yeah, you could grab him. So that's fine. Carson Wentz, Mac Jones, probably the two best quarterbacks to pick up.
yeah, maybe
'Cause
a Cam Newton, but he's
yeah, I
hurt
put
now,
Cam
right?
Newton down here. I wanted to hear your thoughts.
Well, isn't he
On him.
hurt? Because I was looking at the stats. He only went 3 for 4
I think he was
passing.
splitting reps, right?
Was he splitting reps? Like they were just still working him back or something?
I mean, I'll click him, and I'm pretty sure though. I think yeah, Newton's a watch list.
Okay.
Yeah, he only touched the ball 7 times. If he can get up to speed with Carolina's new playbook in time for Washington in Week 11, he could officially become the starter.
Okay.
So if you're really desperate, grab him. But otherwise, grab these other two guys we just talked about.
Yeah.
So biggest grab of the week is AJ Dillon on Green Bay because Aaron Jones is out 1 to 2 weeks. I feel like it could be more because it's an MCL sprain. I feel like why would they just say 1 to 2 weeks and rush back a
There's
all
no
star?
way he's going to be back.
Yeah, biggest scoop is going to get you several wins here is AJ Dillon, Green Bay running back. He's only like 50% owned, so hopefully he's not owned in your league like somebody held a handcuff. And you can go grab that guy because he went beast mode, and I think he could keep doing it.
Yeah, go scoop him up.
And then behind him, Andre Stevenson, who went off of the Patriots. Like we said, the Patriots have won 4 in a row, and they look really good. Damian Harris wasn't playing, but is this guy playing himself into some reps as well? Zach?
Definitely. I mean, he was getting decent carries as the backup to Damian Harris already.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it was just wondering how they were going to do it. If they were going to keep him in that secondary role and give more carries to Brandon Bolden, but they did give him more carries, and Brandon Bolden just became like the secondary role. So it was just wondering. You were just wondering how they were going to do it because they liked Ramondre Stevenson in that kind of pass catching backup running back role. So,
yeah,
but looks like he can handle a bigger workload, and he was another higher pick of a running back, second round. I think he was a second round pick.
yeah,
So they like
yeah,
he's a very talented guy. I think he's the number one until Harris gets back.
yeah, for sure. And their schedule looks pretty easy. They play Buffalo twice, but besides that, like outside of those two games, it looks pretty decent. So shouldn't have trouble there. Besides
Yeah.
making sure he gets reps, and then
Right.
yeah, then I wanted to get the last running back is Deontay Foreman, Tennessee Titans running back. He got
Okay.
7.8 fantasy points, 11 carries, and he also had 2 catches for like 48 yards. So
Hmm.
he looks like a
Yeah.
multifaceted back on a good team.
I would take a chance on that. Why not? I mean, give up like a guy on your bench. Give up a bench guy that you never start that you probably should have dropped a long time ago. pick this
Yeah,
pick this
yeah,
guy
because
up
this
and
guy's
see what
only
happens.
1.6% owned, and
Yeah. Might not even have to put a claim in, just get him as a free agent.
yeah, I think he will now because he had a pretty good game, and it was against the New Orleans I almost said Pelicans, but
Basketball was
yeah,
yesterday.
it'd be like one of your
Get
last
it together,
picks.
bro.
I know it'd be like one of your last waiver. Like you ever put in like a backup waiver ad, you're thinking,
Right.
oh, I might not get this guy, so I'll put in for the same drop to this guy, right?
Yeah, I do that. I do that a bunch.
Okay, well, that's what I think he is. Or you could try
Okay.
what Zach said, but if you really want him, don't wait
Yeah.
because the guy can run and catch.
Okay.
And let's hit tight ends really quick because then I have a lot of wide receivers.
Right.
So
Okay.
only wait. Okay, so the biggest tight end is Hunter Henry, who's only 50% owned, and he
Yeah.
was dropped a bit. And then behind him, I have Tyler Conkin, 13.1 fantasy points. Conk, uh, Minnesota tight end, and Minnesota's got a good offense.
Yeah, he's a big corn-fed MFer.
Yeah, basically, if you can't trade for any of those bigger, bigger name tight ends that we talked about earlier, and you can only go through waivers, and Hunter Henry's already grabbed, you're in a deep competitive league, then I think Conkin is the way to go.
Yeah. He could be worth a scoop for sure.
Sure. All right, man. Let's break into these wideouts. I wanted to talk about Robbie Anderson because now that Sam Darnold is out, and Sam Darnold hated Robbie Anderson, I guess. Robbie Anderson had a decent game. Um, and that was a game like we talked about where the quarterback situation was weird.
Right.
So now he could start
Uh,
getting more catches. This guy's
yeah, I'd scoop him up.
he's down to 50% owned because of the hard start to the season.
Yeah.
51.6% owned. And he had a decent game. He had 9.7 fantasy points, man,
Yeah. I mean,
which is
I
the
think he's definitely worth a scoop.
second best of the year. So yeah, I'm looking at him. He's at the very least is a watch list,
Yeah.
but
You just got to see if Cam Newton still has that cannon.
yeah, we know the talent's there for Robbie Anderson, so could be a free grab.
But he's a
Marquise
deep ball
Callaway.
guy. I mean, that's what you wonder if Cam Newton still has the
hmm
arm strength.
Yeah, well, he had a good game.
Yeah, I mean 3 for 4. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, but it's good,
Okay.
and it could build on that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Marquise Callaway starting to look consistent for New Orleans. He's been a guy that people have grabbed and dropped throughout the year. Basically, as like a stream player, based on matchups for New
Okay.
Orleans. But he's looking consistent now, and I think that's a nice easy grab. So this could be a guy you wait to grab too, but he's had 2 pretty good weeks in a row with a touchdown. So, and we know that Michael Thomas isn't coming back,
Right. No,
and
no,
we
that's a
don't
good. I
we
think
don't
that's a
know
good scoop. He's
there's
had a couple.
no headache quarterback anymore. So
Right. Yeah, if he's looking decent and had a couple consistent weeks, I think he definitely could be worth a nice kind of low risk scoop.
hmm yeah, and then
So what would that be? Because AJ Dillon's he's the chocolate scoop for this week.
God,
What would Callaway be? Would he be like your
he'd be
your
farther down the
is he like
list.
butter is he like butter pecan?
Oh my God. He's definitely behind this guy, Kendrick Bourne from New England. Could be breaking out.
Or is
wide
he
receiver.
pistachio?
My God. No, Kendrick Bourne had 20.1 fantasy points, and he looked dominant out there, man, against Cleveland, like we talked about.
Yeah.
And he had 3 carries for 43 yards. So
Okay, so
multi
they like to give him the Robert Woods treatment and give him some carries. Interesting.
looks like it, and also I think this might be one of the best streaming ads if you don't want to keep him long term because they play Atlanta next week,
Oh yeah, get him in.
and
He's
New
definitely a
England
top one of our. He might make our top three if because of that.
and New England's starting to look like a well-oiled machine again, right?
I wouldn't say that because well-oiled machine was with Tom Brady.
Yeah, but now they have the same record as Tom Brady and his team, and they won 4 in a row. And they're doing it with
Yeah,
a rookie quarterback at the helm and all these
he's
young players.
what is this like? Is this 2006 repeating its like 2002 repeating itself? What's going on with the Patriots? It's literally
Could
almost
be,
like
dude.
the
I mean,
same as
we knew the coach was good.
yeah. They're not. I
Uh,
mean, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but
yes,
I mean,
Tom Brady won the divorce to start because obviously he was still in the NFL and trained up. So the coach needs time to build the new team. But once he's built the new team, he can come back to form here and he can still make some runs. So
right. Part of it is the quarterback though. Mac Jones is playing good.
yeah, so I
So I
think that
still
this
feel
guy's
like Tom Brady won the divorce just because Belichick needs a quarterback to be able to be good. It's not like Belichick can just coach some bum until,
and yeah, he did Jimmy Garoppolo. He coached some bum and did it. And then Cam Newton's just a head case. That was just a mistake.
yeah.
Jeez, uncoachable, really. But yeah, this might be the number one wide receiver. I struggle to put him over Elijah Moore though, and I put
Yeah,
Moore on the
he's
list because he's still only like 30% owned. Like people grabbed him last week, but he went up like 20%.
mhm.
But he needs to be owned.
He's got the goat thrown to him.
Dude, what?
The
White?
goat, Mike White.
Mike White had four interceptions this week.
I okay, dang. R.I.P. Mike White.
But Elijah Moore did get a touchdown. He looked good again. So it's
Yeah.
between him, but you know that he's on the Jets, so it's between him, I think, and Kendrick Bourne for the number one wide receiver to grab.
Okay. I
And
would
then I have
probably go Kendrick Bourne, but
okay for sure. And then a couple more wide receivers before we wrap it up here. Brian Edwards, 14.8 fantasy points, 14.8. Geez, I can't talk today. For the Raiders, and we know the Raiders are a pretty decent team.
yeah.
And also Hunter Renfrow for the Raiders, two 10-point performances in a row, and he's one of Derek Carr's favorite targets. So these two for the
Okay.
Raiders, I think are pretty good the rest of the way, like deep leaguer moves. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I
Okay.
think those could be nice little moves. Getting those guys. I was waiting to see who was gonna start being getting more targets now that, with the Henry Ruggs situation. So
Mm-hmm. Looks like it's these two splitting it a bit.
okay.
But also we haven't seen like we said, the Walrus break out again yet. So,
Right.
but yeah, then the last wide receiver I wanted to talk about is Jamal Agnew. He ran 3 times for 79 yards and a touchdown. He didn't score. He usually runs routes. He's a punt returner, but he also
Okay.
usually runs routes as a wide receiver for Jacksonville. And Jacksonville has looked better lately, so this guy's like a multi-tool.
Yeah, those guys are always interesting.
Could be someone to keep an eye on. He's at the very least as a watch list,
Okay.
and he's plus 5% owned. So people grabbed him before this week, where he did pretty decent. So
Okay.
definitely got to watch with how much he's doing for the team, and they're trying all kinds of things because they're just that young team.
Right.
So someone to check out. Do you have any other players you want to talk about, Zach?
No, I think that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, AJ Dillon's the top scoop, top running back. Top tight end is Hunter Henry. Top wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne for the New England Patriots.
there you have it, folks.
All right, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Just real quick, be sure to check us out on all our social media, twitter.com/GOSpod2021, Instagram, Garden of Sports, Facebook, Garden of Sports Podcast, YouTube, Garden of Sports Podcast. And yeah, just be sure to follow us, and we're happy that you joined us today.
Heck yeah, thanks everyone.